Well, we live in a time where Boko Haram has kidnapped several hundred Christian girls and taken them off into the wilds of Africa and have delivered a message to us about what they intend to do with them. The leader of Boko Haram says, "I am the one who took your girls. Are you the one that created the girls? I will sell them in the market. I have my own market of selling human beings. It is Allah, the owner, that instructed me to sell. I will sell the girls." Now, there are those who comment upon this and say this is an extreme or radical move by Boko Haram. No, it is not radical, and it is not extreme. It is pure Islam. The clue phone is ringing. Pick it up. Allah's on the other end of the line, and what does Allah say? In Quran 23, 1 through 6, "The successful ones will be the believers who are humble in their prayers, who avoid vain conversation, who contribute to the needy, and who abstain from sex, except with their wives or slaves, in which case they are free from blame." So Allah says that it's perfectly fine to have slaves, and it's furthermore perfectly fine to have sex with them. So if Allah says this is true, how could it be radical or extreme? But let's look at this radical or extreme thing through the eyes of Muhammad, because the Quran says over 93 times that every Muslim is to be a Mohammedan, that they are to imitate Muhammad in everything that they do, not to worship Muhammad, but to imitate Muhammad. And Muhammad was a slave owner. As a matter of fact, his favorite sex slave was a white Christian woman called Maryam. It was Muhammad who laid out the rules on how to have sex with captured slaves. Don't have sex with slaves that are pregnant or having their period. But since a Muslim is not supposed to have sex with a married woman, Allah cancels all marriages when they are captured by a Muslim. So Muhammad lays out the rules for slavery. Now, some of these girls are being released, and why is that? Because they were Muslims when they were captured. And you see, slavery is only the end result of being a kafir. So if you're a Muslim, you cannot be enslaved. Slavery is an attack on kafirs. Now here's further thought. Boko Haram is real Islam. But furthermore, the nice Muslim that you've met at work or in your neighborhood is also a Muslim and a Mohammedan, and is therefore equivalent to Boko Haram. But how can this be, you say? Boko Haram is so horrific, and your nice Muslim that you've met at work is so nice. How can they be the same? Well, they have the same Allah, the same Quran, the same Muhammad, the same Hadith. That's the reason they are the same. They use the same text. But you say they're so different. Here's an image on the screen by Escher. Notice you have white angels and black devils. Does it make any sense to ask the question, which of these is real? Is this a drawing of white angels, or is it a drawing of black devils? You see, Islam is dualistic, and it is both Boko Haram in its pure fury of being an enslaver, and it is also the nice Muslim that you've met. So in the image of the white angels and black devils, although it may seem like an intelligent question to say which one is real, the more proper question is, what is the total picture? The total picture is both black devils and white angels, and with Islam, the total picture is the same. It is the same Muhammad who preached the religion for 13 years and garnered 150 Muslims, as we have another Muhammad who was a jihadist and a politician, and under him came great success after he practiced an event of jihad on the average of every 6 weeks for the last 9 years of his life. So which is the real Islam? The religious Islam or the jihadic Islam? No, the question is, what is the total Islam? Because Islam is both. Islam is both your nice neighbor, the nice Muslim you've met, and it is also Boko Haram. Islam is dualistic. But they're so different. And the nice Muslim I met says that he has no part of Boko Haram. Yes, he does. He has Muhammad and he has Allah. He has the Hadith, he has the Sirah, he has the Quran. You see, Boko Haram is the mature Muslim, the mature Mohammedan. And the nice Muslim you've met is simply immature and is practicing the early Islam, the Islam of Muhammad, the religious teacher. But there's also two more possibilities. Perhaps the nice Muslim you've met knows full well Boko Haram is real Islam, and he's deceiving you when he denies it. But there's a third possibility as well, and that is that the nice Muslim you have met is simply not that much of a Mohammedan. He's more kafir. he doesn't go in for all of the stuff that is in Islam. And so really speaking, he's only a cultural Muslim. But Boko Haram is real Islam. The nice Muslim you've met is real Islam. That is the dualism of Islam, and that is its greatest strength that causes us so much confusion. Thank you.